Good afternoon, everyone. I'm privileged to be here, and I want to thank the organizers of this event. I want to thank the previous speakers. I'm not going to go so much into that, so I'll go straight to my presentation before I get running. So this afternoon, I'm talking on promoting the UN Agenda 2250 on youth, peace, and security. I would say in Cameroon, or if you want, it's a UN agenda, so it's for everybody. And I'm looking particularly at the role of the civil society. So it's simple. I will not go to that. Let me go to introducing the key points. Recently, we know what is happening in the world. The world has been hit by several conflicts. We have wars, and the majority of the frontline actors are youths. And usually, when we have a conflict in an area or we have some violence, the first people that people usually put their eyes on to think that they are the cause, they always look at youths. So there's also the global solution for stopping violence. And you see that youths, again, are still the frontline actors of that. And this is the rationale for the UN Agenda 2550. So, for those who are not aware of the concept, it was adopted in 2015, recognizing the positive contribution of youth in the efforts for the maintenance and the promotion of peace and security in the world. And it recognizes the huge potential of the youth for the success of peace and the security agenda as a key to the realization of sustainable development goals. The General Assembly underscored the need for young people to have economic opportunities, political participation, social services, and security in order to avoid the conditions that lead to radicalization and extremism. So the 73rd session, Youth 2030, strengthened the dialogue with young people on their participation in conflicts, prevention, and peace building. I'll go very fast with the slides. And today I want to use a civil society organization that is led by young people to demonstrate the peace and security that the youths are involved in. So if you look at the picture, the World Health Organization defines youth as someone between the age 15 and 24. That is a period between childhood and adulthood. But for those of us who come from Africa, you know that definition is a bit funny. In my country, we have three kinds of youths. That's an aside. We have older youths, younger youths, and we have the middle class youths. My president, for instance, is a youth. Please, you cannot argue that. So, peace is a state or a period where there is no war or war has ended. You have freedom from disturbance or tranquility. And the famous Mother Teresa would say, we do not need guns and bombs to bring peace. All we need is love and compassion. So if everyone has love and compassion, it's easy for us to have peace. So what is security? A state of feeling secured, freedom from fear, anxiety, danger, and doubt. You feel safe. That's for an individual. That's what security would mean for an individual. Now, for a nation, security would mean a state where there is defense of the sovereign state. And defense will include citizens, economy, institutions, which is all regarded as the responsibility of the government. What is a civil society organization? They are non-state actors. They don't have any interest in governing. They don't have any interest in making profit. They just aspire to make a difference in the society. And different civil society organizations pick different roles. Some pick roles in health, others in human rights development. And I know we are all familiar with the different activities that civil society organizations do, so I would spare you the stress of wanting to name all of them. So I'm using a case study of ChefuSirri Foundation, which is an organization I founded in 2019, we protect and promote the rights of women and girls. And recently we added children to it because each time you want to talk to a woman, she brings you her child. If her child has a problem and you don't solve it, you haven't solved her problem. So this organization, in promoting the UN Agenda 2250, we looked at the different 5 pillars of this agenda. In the 5 pillars, you have prevention, participation, protection, I didn't write it there, partnership. Then we have disengagement and reintegration. For those of us who come from the conflict zones, we understand perfectly what disengagement and reintegration would mean. For those who are concerned, those who have been involved in conflict, at a certain point, when you want to be reintegrated into the society, you first of all need to show that you've actually dropped your weapons and now you want to be reintegrated. And some governments actually make provision for you to be properly reintegrated. Properly, in quotes. I don't know how you're going to look at it. So we are located somewhere in Africa. That's the African map. Yes. You see us in red. That's Cameroon. And let me go specifically to Cameroon. Oh, this is blurred. I would have loved for you to see how it appears on my laptop because the images around, I'm also showcasing Cameroon, fortunately. I'm a proud Cameroonian. You see, I'm dressed like, this is the regalia from the northwest region of Cameroon. We have 2 English regions, the southwest and the northwest. So this is the northwest. And you see around the borders, somewhere here, going up, right up to this way, just around the borders, you have it in red. It means that if you're visiting Cameroon, those areas it's a danger zone. You don't want to go around there. It's not so safe. And then somewhere where you see Cameroon written up, it's in yellow. It means it's slightly secured. In fact, you have to tread with precaution. And the other areas down where you have the capital city, you have the economic capital, is very safe. That is general advice for anyone visiting Cameroon. You can use that. So, okay, I think this is, voila. So I actually have it. You see, advice against all travel, advice against all but essential. So if you must travel, you can visit those zones. And the other one, so I'll continue. I already said that youths are often perceived as perpetrators of violence in cases where you have conflict. But again, the UN agenda is meant to portray the positive works of youths because often it is neglected. So this organization focuses on reducing conflict and violence through the use of young persons. Now, I earlier named the 5 pillars of the UN Agenda 2250. They are kind of tightly knit together. I can't go into the details again, but we're going to use 2 of them to show how youths are involved in promoting the Agenda 2250. Participation. How do youth participate to promote? Looking at the what this organization does, youth have the possibility of volunteering. We all know the advantages of volunteering. When you volunteer, you have a possibility of reaching out to your community and preaching peace. You can actually talk someone out of using weapons. You can ask them to drop their weapons. You can meet people, you can make a difference in their lives. I believe just us being here and interacting with each other, we've learned a lot from others. Personally, I have learned from the other speakers. I've learned from every other person. As a youth, when you are volunteering, you can still take up challenges, and I'm sure we are all aware of the different challenges that we face and the different advantages of volunteering. You can preach peace, you can talk people to drop their arms, you can combat hate speech. I know for us, like where I come from, hate speech is a major issue because it's one of the issues that caused the ongoing crisis in my country. I showed you the danger zones, and before we got to where we are, hate speech played a lot. So people just speak anyhow because you don't come from the same area like myself, you don't do the same things, you don't have the same opportunities and the same privileges I have. You throw words anyhow. Hate speech is very dangerous. And in the process of participating and volunteering, you can actually help someone to live in peace with each other. So, you see, that's an example of what we do in a school, talking with the kids, talking them out of hate speech, giving them even when we talk to them, we talk about gender-based violence, we talk about hate speech, we talk about the use of alcohol and drug, because they are kind of interconnected. Whether you like it or not, it goes together, and it's a way of promoting peace. So the next pillar I'm going to use is prevention. I don't have so much time, so I'm just rushing. So I said we had 5 pillars. So we've talked about participation and prevention. So youths can actively raise their voices and take actions to prevent anything that will obstruct peace and security in the world at large. And youth sensitizing and educating young people and the public to dropping their weapons and to using hate speech. You can see the images. You can also, by prevention also, you can report something that you see, that you know that necessary action needs to be taken. If you see somebody doing something that is already a threat to the peace and security of the nation, prevention is necessary. Instead of waiting for this thing to happen, you can actually talk about it. You can report. We have the police. We have we have laws that help us in cases like that. So, in conclusion, youth engagement in civil society organizations has so much to play to foster peace and security. And member states and stakeholders are called upon to commit resources and to consider ways to increase meaningful and inclusive participation of youth in peace and security building efforts. And I also think that in an environment like this, there are people in their own little way who can support organizations that have to do with building peace and security. I think people are not happy when they see things like that. So if you think that you have something to maybe, and in anyhow you can promote peace and security, maybe through partnership, maybe through supporting another organization that is already working, or just in any way, you can get to us. So you can have my address there. And for those of us who have interacted one-on-one, you can share, and we can make the world a better place in our own little way. If you help one person, I was talking with some person and I said, you don't need to help the whole world. I think I was telling her, if you help one person, the person goes to another, and it's a network that we build. So that should be the end of my presentation. Thank you.